Family threw me out when I was jobless. 5 years later, they showed up. We're taking this house. 5 years ago, I stood outside my parents' house in the freezing rain, jobless, broke, and begging, while they watched from behind the door and closed it in my face. But last week, they showed up with moving boxes and said, "We are taking this house now. You do not have a husband. You do not have kids. You do not need it." I did not argue. I just made one phone call, and everything changed. My name is Summer Brennan, and this is the story of how I learned that sometimes the family that abandons you becomes the very reason you build something they can never touch. I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin, in a neighborhood where people competed through their children's achievements. Every house had the same beige siding, the same two-car garage, the same pressure to be perfect. My father, Richard, managed a regional bank branch downtown. He wore the same gray suit every day, carried the same leather briefcase for 15 years, and believed that life was a balance sheet where love was earned through accomplishment. My mother, Patricia, taught advanced mathematics at the local high school. She graded her children the same way she graded her students, on a curve, where someone always had to fail. That someone was usually me. My older sister, Brooke, was everything they wanted. She got her real estate license at 23, married Derek, a tax attorney, at 25, and bought her first investment property before her 27th birthday. At family dinners, my parents would list her achievements like reading a resume. Brooke just closed on a $500,000 lake house, my mother would announce over pot roast. Derek's firm made him junior partner, my father would add, raising his wine glass. Then their eyes would drift to me, and the silence would stretch until someone changed the subject. I was not rebellious or difficult. I was just different. While Brooke studied market trends, I stayed up until 3 in the morning teaching myself design software on a laptop I bought refurbished from a pawn shop. I loved creating digital spaces, websites, apps, interfaces that made people's lives easier, but to my family, it was not real work. It was playing on the computer. It was wasting time. I remember my 16th birthday perfectly. Brooke got a car for hers, a silver Honda Accord with a red bow on the hood. For mine, my parents took me to Applebee's and gave me a $50 Target gift card. My father spent the entire dinner talking about Brooke's latest sale. When the waitress brought out a small birthday cake with a single candle, my mother was on her phone, texting Brooke about paint colors for her new condo. I blew out the candle alone, while my father flagged down the check. That night, I sat in my room, which was half the size of Brooke's old one, and opened my laptop. I designed my first website that night. It was terrible, all wrong proportions and clashing colors, but it was mine. Something I created from nothing, something that existed because I decided it should. Senior year of high school, I won a state competition for digital design. The prize was $5,000 in scholarship money. I rushed home with the certificate, my hands shaking with excitement. My parents were in the living room, champagne glasses out, celebrating. My heart soared. They knew somehow they were proud. Finally. Brooke sold 3 houses this month, my mother announced when she saw me. We are celebrating her breaking the company record. I stood there holding my certificate while they toasted my sister over FaceTime. Later, I left it on the kitchen counter. The next morning, it was in the recycling bin under coffee grounds. The night I told them I wanted to major in user experience design at the state university was the night everything truly broke between us. We were eating my mother's dry chicken and overcooked broccoli. I had practiced my speech for weeks. User experience design combines psychology, technology, and creativity, I explained, trying to sound confident. Companies need designers who understand how people interact with digital products. My father set down his fork slowly, deliberately, the way he did when he was about to deliver bad news at the bank. Summer, that is not a career. That is what unemployed millennials put on their LinkedIn profiles. Richard is right, my mother added. Look at your sister. Real estate is stable, tangible. People always need houses. Brooke, who was visiting that night with Derek, laughed. Honestly, Summer, you spend all that time on your computer and for what? So someone's website looks pretty? I made more this month than you will probably make in a year doing that. Derek nodded. My firm would never hire someone with that kind of degree. No offense. All offense taken. I wanted to say, but I just stared at my plate. You could study accounting, my mother suggested, or marketing, at least that has some business application. I have already been accepted into the program, I said quietly. I start in the fall. The table went silent. Not the kind of silence that comes from surprise, but the kind that comes from disappointment so deep it does not need words. My father finally spoke. Then you will pay for it yourself. We are not wasting money on a hobby degree. They paid for Brooke's entire education, $40,000 for her business degree. They bought her books, her meal plans, her spring break trips to Cabo. For me, they offered nothing but judgment. So I worked. 3 jobs during college. The midnight shift at a 24-hour diner, weekends at a call center, evenings tutoring high school kids in basic computer skills. I lived on ramen noodles and gas station coffee. My roommate spent weekends at parties while I spent them hunched over my laptop, completing freelance projects for $20 each, building a portfolio no one would probably ever see. I stopped going home for holidays. What was the point? Every conversation was about Brooke's success and my failure to be her. Christmas junior year, I told them I had to work. I actually spent it alone in my dorm room, eating Chinese takeout and watching YouTube tutorials on advanced CSS. It was the best Christmas I had had in years. If you are watching this from anywhere, Milwaukee, Denver, Portland, wherever you call home, and you have ever spent a holiday alone because being with family hurt more than being without them, let me know in the comments where you are watching from. Sometimes strangers on the internet understand loneliness better than the people who are supposed to love us most. Senior year, everything started to click. My portfolio was strong. My grades were perfect. I had won 3 more design competitions. Though I never told my family, then Marcus Chen entered my life. He was a startup founder, young, brilliant, chaotic. He came to campus looking for a design intern. 60 people applied. He chose me. "Your work has soul," he said during the interview. "Most designers make things look good. You make things feel right." The internship was unpaid, but I did not care. I redesigned his company's entire interface. When the app relaunched, user engagement tripled. Marcus promised me a full-time position after graduation, 70,000 starting salary, benefits, stock options. It was everything I had worked for. Graduation day came in May. The Wisconsin sun was perfect, warm but not hot, with a breeze that smelled like cut grass and possibility. I stood in line with my cap and gown, watching other families arrive with balloons and flowers. I had told my parents the date and time twice, even sent them a parking pass. They never showed. I walked across that stage alone, shook the dean's hand alone, and stood outside the auditorium alone while everyone else took family photos. A grandmother next to me, there for her grandson, noticed me standing by myself. "Where is your family, sweetheart?" "Working," I lied. She touched my arm gently. "Well, I am proud of you." I cried in my car for an hour after that. 2 weeks later, my world imploded. Marcus called at 7 in the morning, his voice hollow. "Summer, I am so sorry. Our funding fell through. The lead investor pulled out. We are shutting down today." "But you promised." "I know. I am sorry. I am so, so sorry." Just like that, my future evaporated. $70,000 became zero. Stock options became worthless paper. The safety net I thought I had built disappeared, and I was free falling. I applied everywhere: Chicago, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, even Des Moines. 63 applications. 4 interviews, 0 offers. Every position wanted 5 years of experience for entry-level pay. My savings dwindled. $400, $300, $200. My roommate, Jessica, moved out in July to take a job in Seattle. I could not afford the apartment alone. I sold everything. My television went for $50, my printer for $20. My beloved refurbished laptop, the one I had learned everything on, went for $300. I kept only my phone and a hard drive with my portfolio. It was not enough. The eviction notice came on a Tuesday. Bright orange paper taped to my door like a flag of failure. Pay or vacate within 72 hours. I sat on my floor. I had sold my bed the week before and did the math. I needed $2,000 for a security deposit anywhere else. I had $87 and nowhere to go. That is when I made the call I had promised myself I would never make. The phone rang 3 times before my father answered. "Summer? It is early." "Dad, I need help." The words tasted like acid. I lost my job opportunity. The startup closed. I just need a loan. $2,000 for a deposit on a new place. I will pay you back with interest. The silence stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. "Summer, you chose this path against our advice. We warned you about unstable career choices. Please, Dad. I have nowhere to go. I will be homeless in 3 days." My mother's voice came through the speaker. He had put me on speakerphone without telling me. "We are helping Brooke and Derek with the down payment on their new house. A real investment. We cannot bail you out every time your choices backfire. This is the first time I have ever asked you for anything, and it should be the last," my father said. "You are 22 years old. Take responsibility for your decisions." "I am taking responsibility. That is why I am asking for help." "No," my mother said firmly. "Asking us to fix your mistakes is not taking responsibility. It is avoiding consequences." "So you are really going to let me be homeless?" "You are being dramatic," my mother said. "There are shelters. Or maybe this will motivate you to find a real job." The line went dead. I stared at my phone. my hands shaking so hard I dropped it. They had really done it. They had really chosen to let me fail completely rather than help me once. That night, thunder rolled in from the west. By 10, rain was hammering the windows. By 11, I was in my car with everything I owned in 3 garbage bags, driving through sheets of water toward the only place I could think to go. My parents' house looked warm from the street. Every light was on. Through the dining room window, I could see them. My father reading his tablet, my mother doing her crossword puzzle, Brooke and Derek laughing over wine, a normal Tuesday night family dinner, without me. I parked in the driveway and ran to the door, already soaked. I knocked. 3 hard knocks that hurt my knuckles. My father answered, opening the door just 6 inches, not enough for me to see inside, not enough to imply I was welcome. Summer, what are you doing here? Dad, please. I have nowhere else to go. Just let me stay for a few weeks. I will sleep on the couch. I will be gone during the day, looking for work. Please. He looked at me, really looked. I was soaking wet, carrying a garbage bag of clothes, shivering so hard my teeth chattered. His daughter, his youngest child, standing in the rain, begging for shelter. No, he said. You need to learn from this. Learn from being homeless? My mother appeared behind him, not opening the door any wider. This is not a good time, Summer. Brooke has news to share. She is pregnant. I stood there, rain running down my face, mixing with tears I did not try to hide anymore. Mom, please. There is a shelter on Park Street, she said. They open at 8. The door closed. The lock clicked. I stood on that porch for 5 more minutes, rain soaking through my jacket, my shoes, my skin, through the window. I watched them return to dinner. Brooke raised her wine glass, sparkling cider. I realized now, because of the pregnancy, they toasted. They laughed. My father hugged her. My mother wiped happy tears. Their homeless daughter stood 10 feet away, invisible. I walked back to my car, my legs barely working. As I opened the door, my phone buzzed. A text from Brooke. Stop making everything about you. This is my moment. There is a Walmart on Highway 12 that lets people park overnight. I threw my phone against the dashboard so hard the screen cracked. That night, I parked behind Walmart and tried to sleep in my back seat. The rain hammered the roof all night. The parking lot lights were too bright. Every time someone walked by, I tensed, keys between my fingers like claws. I did not sleep. I just existed, minute by minute, waiting for sunrise. The next 3 weeks were the darkest of my life. I learned things no one should have to learn: how to shower at a truck stop without getting harassed, how to make a single protein bar last all day, how to charge your phone at McDonald's without buying anything until they kick you out, how to look normal enough that no one calls the cops on you for existing. I applied for jobs from coffee shop Wi-Fi, even fast food, retail, anything. But with no address and a phone with a cracked screen, callbacks were rare. Rock Bottom has a basement, and I found it. One morning at a Starbucks, trying to make a small coffee last 4 hours while I used their internet, a familiar voice called my name. Summer? Summer Brennan? I looked up. Miss Eleanor Green, my high school art teacher, the only teacher who had ever displayed my work, who had written me recommendation letters, who had told me I had talent worth pursuing. She sat down without asking, taking in my unwashed hair, my same clothes from 3 days ago, the way I clutched my coffee like a lifeline. Talk to me, she said simply. I tried to lie, to say I was fine, but the words would not come. Instead, I broke, completely. Told her everything through ugly sobs that made other customers stare. She listened without interrupting, without judging, without offering empty platitudes. When I finished, she stood up. Come with me. I followed her to her car, then to her house on the edge of town. A small yellow Craftsman with a garden that looked like organized chaos. She led me around back to a converted garage. This was my art studio, she said, opening the door. Now it is yours. Inside was a single bed, a desk, a small refrigerator, and a hot plate. Miss Green. I cannot. Yes, you can. The shower is in the main house. Kitchen too. You will help me with the garden and some household projects. That is your rent. No arguments. I collapsed on the bed and cried until I could not breathe. Not from sadness this time, but from relief. From the knowledge that one person in this world thought I was worth saving. Are you still watching? If you have ever had that one person, teacher, friend, stranger, who pulled you up when everyone else let you fall, hit subscribe. These stories matter. Your story matters. Keep watching. Miss Green's brother, William, owned a travel planning company downtown. Nothing fancy, just him and 2 employees booking corporate trips and family vacations. She called him that night. The next morning, I had a job interview. The morning after that, I had a job. Our website is from 2008, William said, embarrassed. Can you fix it? I can rebuild it from scratch. $15 an hour, 20 hours a week. Best I can do right now. I will take it. $300 a week was not much, but it was infinity compared to zero. I worked on William's website during the day and freelanced at night. $5 Fiverr gigs, $10 logo designs, anything to rebuild. Miss Green and I ate dinner together most nights. Simple meals, soup, salad, bread. She taught me about her garden, about patience, about growing things from seeds that looked dead. Your family, she said one evening while we weeded tomatoes. They are broken, not you. Never forget that. They are successful. I am living in a garage. Success without kindness is failure. You will understand that one day. 6 months passed. I saved every penny, living on rice and beans, wearing the same 3 outfits, cutting my own hair with YouTube tutorials. My portfolio grew, my freelance clients started referring me to others. Word spread that I delivered quality work on time for fair prices. A yoga studio hired me for a full rebrand, $500. Then a bakery, $800. Then a nonprofit, $1,500. I registered my business, Northline Design, LLC. It sounded professional. It sounded like something that would survive. By year 2, I had enough saved for my own apartment, a studio above a coffee shop downtown, 400 square feet, one window that faced a brick wall, radiator that clanged all night. Paradise. I worked 18-hour days, website redesigns, app interfaces, branding packages, social media campaigns. My clients were small businesses that could not afford big agencies but needed professional work. I became their solution. Year 3 brought bigger contracts. A regional hospital needed patient portal updates. A restaurant chain wanted cohesive branding across 12 locations. I hired a virtual assistant, then a part-time developer. Northline Design moved from my apartment to actual office space. Just 2 rooms and a bathroom. But there was a sign on the door with my company name. My company. Mine. Then I saw it. A foreclosure listing in Maple Grove, a quiet suburb 40 minutes from Madison. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, an attached garage, half an acre of land. The house needed everything: roof, plumbing, electrical updates, paint, flooring, but the bones were solid, built in 1952 when they still used real wood and actual plaster. The bank wanted $60,000, I offered $55,000 cash. Every penny I had saved plus a small business loan. They accepted. The day I got the keys, I sat on the floor of the empty living room and cried. Not from sadness, not from relief, but from something I had never felt before, pride in myself. No one gave this to me. No one helped me buy it. I earned every splinter, every broken tile, every peeling piece of wallpaper. My neighbor, Jordan, was a 70-year-old retired contractor who still wore tool belts for fun. He found me trying to fix a leak under the kitchen sink with a YouTube video playing on my phone. You are going to flood the whole house doing it that way, he said from the doorway. He showed me the right way. Then he came back the next day to help with the bathroom tile. Then the deck, then the roof. He never asked for payment, just companionship. His wife had passed 2 years before. He was lonely. I was overwhelmed. We helped each other. Why are you helping me? I asked. One day while we installed insulation in the attic, both of us covered in fiberglass and sweat. My daughter lives in Portland, he said. Never visits, never calls. You remind me that not all young people are too busy for old folks. Friday dinners became our tradition. He brought beer and stories from his construction days. I made spaghetti and listened. We sat on the deck we built together, watching fireflies, and not talking about the families that failed us. The house transformed slowly. White paint replaced the yellowed exterior. Warm gray walls inside. Original hardwood floors were finished. A small office overlooking the backyard where I planted Miss Green's favorite flowers, lavender, roses, and cherry tomatoes. 5 years had passed since the night my parents closed their door on me. 5 years of building, growing, surviving. Northline Design had 12 steady clients and 2 part-time contractors. I was not rich, but I was stable. I was not married, but I was not alone. I had Miss Green, who visited monthly, Jordan, who fixed my mower without being asked, William, who now paid me to maintain all his company's digital presence, clients who sent Christmas cards with their kids' photos. I had built a life. Then, on a Thursday in October, everything shifted again. The knock was wrong. Not Jordan's gentle tap. Not a delivery driver's efficient rap. 3 aggressive pounds that rattled the frame. I opened the door. My mother stood there, older, with gray roots showing through her usual perfect dye job. Behind her, Brooke, wearing designer sunglasses despite the cloudy sky, holding her toddler, Bennett. Derek, checking his phone, looking uncomfortable. My father, studying my house like he was appraising its value. Hello, Summer, my mother said. stepping forward like she belonged there. I blocked the doorway. What are you doing here? We need to discuss your grandmother's estate. Grandmother Helen had died 3 years ago. She left me her wedding ring and $5,000, which I had used for house repairs. Everything else went to my parents. There is nothing to discuss. Brooke pushed past me, Bennett on her hip. This house, you bought it with inheritance money. I bought it with my own money. Grandmother's 5,000 was used for renovations, my father said, consulting his phone like he had notes. That makes this property part of the family estate. That is not how inheritance law works. My mother walked through my living room without permission, touching things, evaluating. You are single. No children. This is too much space for one person. Brooke opened closets. 3 bedrooms and you live alone? We need this space. Bennett needs a yard. We are cramped in our condo. Derek finally looked up from his phone. Market value is probably triple what you paid. You are sitting on an investment you cannot maximize. They were not visiting. They were measuring, planning, taking inventory of what they had already decided was theirs. You need to leave, I said quietly. My father turned. We are moving in. Brooke and Derek need the main floor. Your mother and I will take the upstairs. You can keep the smallest bedroom if you contribute to expenses. I almost laughed at the audacity. You cannot be serious. Family helps family, my mother said. You have resources we need. We are family. That should matter. It should have mattered 5 years ago when I was sleeping in a Walmart parking lot. Silence. That was different, my father said finally. You needed to learn. To be homeless? To shower at truck stops? To eat once a day? What exactly was the lesson? Brooke shifted Bennett to her other hip. You are being dramatic. You obviously figured it out. Look at this place. Get out. Do not be emotional, my mother said. Get out. Now. My father's face went red. We will contest this. The inheritance was misused. We have rights. Try it. I have 5 years of tax returns, bank statements, and business records. I have security cameras recording this conversation. Leave now, or I call the police. They left slowly, my father turning at the door. This is not over. Yes, I said. It is. That night, I installed more cameras, changed my locks, and called my lawyer, Jennifer, who had helped me establish the LLC. Can they actually do anything? Not legally, but keep documenting. People do crazy things when they feel entitled to something. 3 days later, Jordan called. Summer, there are people in your backyard. I pulled up my camera app. Derek at my back door with some kind of tool. Brooke at the windows. Bennett in a stroller on my lawn. My parents standing in the driveway like lookouts. They were trying to break into my house. The one I bled for, sweated for, earned splinter by splinter. I did not panic. I did not rage. I felt something cold and calm settle over me. The same feeling from that night in the rain 5 years ago, but different. That night, I was powerless. Today, I was not. I made one call. 911, what is your emergency? My estranged family is attempting to break into my home. I have video evidence recording right now. I need officers immediately. Are you in danger? No. I have a secure room, but they are actively trying to enter. Officers are en route. I watched through the cameras as 2 squad cars pulled up 8 minutes later. My family's faces went from confident to confused to panicked as officers approached. I met them in my driveway, phone in hand. Are you the homeowner? Yes. This is my family. We have been estranged for 5 years. They showed up 3 days ago demanding to move in. I have that interaction on video too. Now they are trying to break in. I showed them everything. The first visit. Derek attempting the lock. Brooke trying windows. My parents standing guard. The older officer watched the footage twice, his face hardening. He turned to my father. Sir, is this you in the video? We are her family. We have rights to... You have no rights to break into private property. My mother's tears came instantly. This is a misunderstanding. We just wanted to talk. She would not answer our calls. Because of the 5-year estrangement? The officer asked. Ma'am, attempting breaking and entering is a felony. Derek stepped forward, using his lawyer voice. Officer, surely we can. Sir, are you the one with the tool at the back door? Derek went pale. I want a lawyer. That is your right. Turn around. They arrested Derek first, then my father for conspiracy. My mother and Brooke were given citations for trespassing and told if they stepped on my property again, they would be arrested too. As the police cars pulled away with my father and Derek in the back, Brooke turned to me, Bennett crying in her arms. How could you do this? We are your family. No, I said. Family does not leave you homeless. Family does not break into your home. Family does not demand what you built without them. You are strangers who happen to share my DNA. She left without another word. If you are still here, still watching this story unfold, If you have ever had to choose between keeping toxic family in your life or protecting the peace you built without them, comment below, home is earned. Those 3 words, because everyone fighting for their own peace needs to know they are not alone. The restraining orders were approved within 2 weeks. 500 feet minimum distance. No contact, direct or indirect. Jennifer helped me file additional paperwork, making my house and business untouchable through the LLC. Derek was disbarred for the attempted breaking and entering charge. Brooke's real estate license was suspended pending investigation of ethical violations. Turns out she had pulled my property records illegally. My parents' reputation in their perfect neighborhood crumbled when the police report became public record. But I did not celebrate their downfall. I just continued living. Miss Green visited that weekend. We planted spring bulbs in silence until she finally spoke. You did the right thing. It does not feel like victory. Protection is not about winning. It is about surviving. You survived them twice now. That is enough. Jordan helped me install new locks, military grade. They will not be back, he said. Bullies only push people they think will not push back. You pushed back hard. Winter came early that year, December snow in November. I worked from my home office, designed websites for clients who valued my work. I cooked dinners for one without apology. I read books in the bedroom they said I did not deserve. 2 weeks before Christmas, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost did not answer. Summer? My mother's voice, smaller than I had ever heard it. How did you get this number? Does it matter? I needed to tell you something. I waited. Your father and I are divorcing. The legal bills, the shame, it broke us. Brooke and Derek are separated. She is living with me. We lost everything. Why are you telling me this? A long pause. I wanted to say I am proud of you for building something, for protecting it, for becoming who you are despite us. No, I said quietly. You are not proud. You are alone. You are scared, and you are trying to manipulate me one more time. But I learned something from you after all, how to close a door and lock it. Goodbye, Patricia. I used her first name on purpose. She was not my mother anymore. She was just someone I used to know. I hung up and blocked the number. That night, it snowed hard. I made tea and stood at my window watching my garden disappear under white. Everything looked clean, fresh, possible. Tomorrow, I would shovel the driveway. This weekend, help Jordan with his Christmas lights. Next month, Miss Green and I would plan the spring garden. A young woman knocked on my door the following week. 17, nervous, holding college applications. You are Summer from Northline Design? I am. My parents want me to study accounting, but I want to be a graphic designer. Everyone says art is not a real career. My counselor said you might understand. I invited her in, made her tea, showed her my office, my portfolio, my tax returns from the last 3 years. Real numbers, real success. The only mistake, I told her, is letting someone else define what success means for you. She smiled for the first time. How did you know to trust yourself? I did not. I just knew that failing at something I loved was better than succeeding at something that killed my soul. I gave her my card. Email me your portfolio. When you graduate, if you still want this, I will need a design intern. After she left, I walked through my house. Every wall I had painted, every tile I had placed, every flower I had planted. This was not just property. It was proof. Proof that the girl who stood in the rain with nowhere to go had built something solid, something real, something completely hers. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Brooke. Mom is sick. Cancer. She needs help. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back. There is a shelter on Park Street. They open at 8. I blocked that number too. Some might call me cold, heartless, unforgiving, but they did not stand in that rain. They did not sleep in their car. They did not build themselves up from absolute nothing while the people who should have loved them most watched them drown. Forgiveness is not owed, it is earned, and they had done nothing to earn it.